and has 12 years experience in lean practice. Most of her experience is in establishing a lean culture, helping organizations understand their processes, analyze them using data, and find opportunities for improvement using Lean Six Sigma methodology. Currently, she's a program manager for continuous improvement and a lean bench manager. Okay, I'm going to ask some questions about that. So lean bench manager at the University of California, San Diego. Prachi, welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Eric. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Some of my colleagues have been here before. Mojgan, who is my manager currently, and some of my colleagues from Office of Strategic Initiative, Ashley, and some of her partners. And I've heard nothing but great things about Cal Poly and the students over here. So really excited to be here and see, how thoroughly you are going through all the tools and have a big population of students who are interested in Lean Six Sigma, Green Belt, and Black Belt.
Yeah. So, well, I got to tell you, Prachi, that it's sort of a mutual admiration society, because I look down at the stuff that you guys are doing and the amount of effort and time and things you're putting into it, and I'm a little bit jealous, to be honest. But we could certainly talk more about that. So, Prachi, as I said, I want to hear a little bit about what your job is, and this idea of lean bench manager. We hadn't really sort of talked about that before.
Yeah, that's an interesting piece of my role here at UCSD, and so I'm going to talk about both aspects of my role here at UCSD. The first one was a program manager for continuous improvement program at ITS, Information Technology Services at UCSD, which means that we have this continuous improvement program at the ITS department at UCSD. At ITS, it's mandatory for all of our staff to be at least Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt. So we make sure that every single individual on our staff on the ITS side goes through the Yellow Belt training, and we maintain kind of dashboards and training logistics and numbers associated with that. So that's managing that program is a part of my role here.
So Prachi, we don't have, or we really haven't sort of talked about like a yellow belt. So we've got green belts and black belts. Can you tell us a little, like what's involved with a yellow belt? What does that look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yellow belts, you might be familiar with different levels of Lean Six Sigma awareness. It starts with a white belt, which is the most kind of preliminary level of Lean Six Sigma awareness. It's typically like a half day or a one-day workshop, and people end up learning about the DMAIC methodology and kind of getting familiar with it. With yellow belt, it's a little bit more of a detailed experiential kind of training where folks learn about the DMAIC process, they apply their learning, they apply, the VSMs, and they get an opportunity to use different tools of Lean Six Sigma using a project that is kind of explored with them during the training. So in the pre-COVID world, we used to have that as a full day experience, folks inside a room, and we had a real life sort of exercise, which we had our students go through to understand the spirit and the principles behind Lean Six Sigma. And then later on, we invite these people, because these people at ITS, they become a part of providing a service to the campus, right? They are all either service owners, service offering managers, or a part of the team that's providing a service, an IT service to the campus. And so when they are dealing with processes within their service, we at ITS feel that it's almost mandatory for them to be familiar with Lean Six Sigma principles so that we can have a common language to talk through, and we can share ideas associated with process improvement. So now in the post-COVID world, when everything is happening online, we've somehow managed to create a more evolved version of that training online, like over a period of time. And so our folks still go through an online version of a full day Lean Six Sigma training, which is of the level of a yellow belt. And, we've distributed it into 3 days to make it more interactive, and so we can retain the attention of people, because as you know that in this remote environment, that's
well, if you could teach us more about retaining attention, that's what Wes and I are all about, right? So
yeah, I'm myself getting trained on that as well, so yeah, so that's the piece where we are making sure that all of our staff is Lean Six Sigma trained. We make sure that we are capturing reporting related to that. All folks besides those who are doing yellow belt, which is all of our staff, our service owners have to go through Lean Six Sigma green belt training. Like all of our service owners, we require them. Service owners are those people who own or who are accountable for deploying a service for the campus. So those folks are required to go through Lean Six Sigma green belt training. Now, after doing the green belt training, not only do they complete a green belt, a Lean Six Sigma project during their training, but after their training is complete, they are invited to pick up more process improvement projects across the department. So, it's a part of my job to help them, coach them through these projects, and also keep data associated with these projects, reports, impact numbers, and that kind of stuff. So this is all associated.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah. That's one of the challenges for organizations doing this kind of thing, is that you get good uptake when people are getting their green belt. You can get them to do the project, but it's like, okay, when are you going to do your next project, right? And so are you? Is there a requirement for people to stay certified as green belt, that they have to do additional projects to stay active? How are you guys handling that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's been a journey. I would say it has been a journey. It hasn't happened overnight. A lot of efforts have taken place, and I'll talk through some of them, as I go through other pieces of my role, and also about the culture of continuous improvement at UCSD. You'll learn a little bit more about it, but it hasn't happened overnight. It has taken a lot of effort in terms of creating this culture where we don't have to use the training or their green belt sort of hostage in terms of, you can only maintain your green belt status if you're doing these projects, but instead making them owners of the service that they are responsible for, making them accountable for the service that they're responsible for, and making continuous improvement a part of service management. This is how, continuous improvement is how services are managed at ITS, at UCSD. And a part of that is continuously improving their service. They are whenever there is an incident that happens related to ITS, or let's say any system goes down, they are required to go through something that we call as after action report, which means we conduct a deep analysis of the timeline of what happened when the system went down. Is it something that has been happening in a pattern in the past, trying to pull out data associated with that incident, and then trying to find out the root cause, basically deploying all the DMAIC principles, making sure what is it that we can do to improve this piece so that this incident does not happen again. And creating a report about that, showing it to other service owners as an example. So, all of that is kind of incorporated now as a part of our service ownership principles. And that's how,
No, so it's interesting. So as you talked about that, I'm sort of thinking to our sort of COVID-19 situation, right? And we have this, okay, you want to do contact tracing, but you can't really do contact tracing if everybody's getting the virus, right? So do you feel like, doing that sort of detailed after action report is a thing that you've kind of got good enough and now you can do it? Or did you do that to get good? Does that make sense?
It does. Are you talking specifically about the lean methodology deployed around COVID, or deployed around any service at ITS?
No, yeah, I was talking more about any service. And by the way, so Wes has a day job in ITS, so you got to be careful. He might be stealing some of these ideas and going to go take them back to his organization. But
You're most
one of the
welcome
things
to.
Wes and I were also, I guess Cal Poly's in the process of putting out a new trouble ticket system, Wes. We were sort of talking about that. And, I'm sort of thinking, okay, one of the things we want lean practitioners to do to identify problems and, own the process like you're talking about, and then take, proactive action to fix it and document and stuff. That's good. Trouble tickets, I think they could be the leading edge of that kind of thing, but you need that culture to back it up, right? I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've created now over a period of time a bunch of platforms. Problem reports is one of our platforms. Of course, incidents come in, but incidents turn into a problem when we see a pattern. When we see that the similar incidents or an incidence with the same root cause is repeating over a period of time, that presents itself as a problem. And then, a problem report can be created based on that.
Okay.
And problem reports are created not just based on, the problems that we are already encountering, but also proactively. If a service owner proactively sees a problem that could be coming down the pike, they could be doing a problem report analysis based on that proactive measure. And we have a methodology that has been defined as a part of our service management, principles at ITS that they can follow. Like there's a specific structured document that they are required to go through, and that document is completely based on Lean Six Sigma principles. DMAIC, it's basically a DMAIC document, and they can do a problem review associated with that problem or a proactive problem. AAR, which is after action review, that typically happens when a bigger incident has happened, or a major incident, how we call it at ITS. A major incident happens, they are required, then that's a must have. It's not a proactive action, it's more of a must have action that they are required to do. And then they are required to present it quarterly. Not only just a one-time after action review, but also a quarterly update on what happened after we deployed the immediate, first aid for that particular problem. So every quarter we come back and say, okay, we had deployed these immediate measures, but after about 3 months, this is where we stand. This is the new data that shows whether that problem has been addressed or reduced because of the actions that we took place. So sort of continuing with the control mode on an ongoing basis.
Oh, very good. So Prachi, this is really interesting, and I can get sort of a little bit geeky in my questions, and maybe we're taking the students a place where they didn't really know they wanted to go. But I know you've got a little video that you wanted to show, and then I've got a question. I want to hear a little bit about your lean journey. So how did you come to be in the position you're in? But I also want to use this opportunity for this to queue up the students and let them know that we need some questions for Prachi to answer. So if you go ahead and type your questions in the chat room, we'll go ahead and make sure that those get answered. But to give them some time to sort of think of those questions, we'll give stand-up credit for those questions. The video to share, and then hear about the lean journey. I'll let you figure out, like, you want first, second, which way do you want to do those?
Sounds good, Eric. So the lean journey is more about the second piece of my role, which was the lean bench manager role. Okay. And just I'm going to briefly introduce that role and then go into that video.
Okay.
So the lean bench manager role serves more of the entire campus. So the role that I previously talked about, that piece of my role is dedicated to the ITS department within UCSD. But lean bench is basically a team that came together because we realized that we have so many Lean Six Sigma trained practitioners here at UCSD. If we count UCSD Health, we have over 3,200 Lean Six Sigma trained professionals at UCSD, which includes, folks ranging from white belt to all the way to black belt. And there is plenty of processes around the campus that can take some improvement. So all that was left to do was, bring the two together and try to see if we can use our in-house potential to solve some of those problems and improve some of those processes. And that's when Lean Bench was born, which was basically dreamed up to capitalize on the internal potential that we have related to Lean Six Sigma. And so we went through a recruitment process, and during that time, we came across some really bright candidates that wanted to practice their Lean Six Sigma skills on real life projects. And that's when Lean Bench was born. So it's basically a team of Lean Six Sigma practitioners, about 12 to 15 practitioners that come together as a cohort every year. And every year we do this recruitment effort again to bring new set of Lean Six Sigma practitioners in and continue this cohort. So that's a little bit about how Lean Bench was born at UCSD, and that was a part of our Lean Six Sigma journey. And with that, I want to share a little video that we created, to try to compress our Lean Six Sigma journey in 3 minutes, and just to show the spirit of some of the efforts that have happened at UCSD related to Lean. So here, I'll let you guys take a look, and then I'm happy to answer any questions from there onwards. Let me know if you can hear the volume all okay. Maybe a thumbs up would help.
When you shared your screen, yeah, I think when you do the screen share, there's a little checkbox at the bottom that says share for audio.
Yeah, you might have to stop sharing and go out and come back in.
How about now?
There we go. There we go.
Continuous improvement to me is a mindset. It's a way of looking at not just what we do, but how we do it. And it's also a lot of keeping an open mind.
And so the essence of me for improvement is to improve how quickly we can deliver and how efficiently we can deliver what we need to the community.
Creating an agile and sustainable and supportive infrastructure through dedication to service and people and stewardship. And so that whole philosophy is part of how we started to look at the work at the university. And the core to this is Lean Six Sigma, which is a very powerful methodology. It gives measurable results.
A great set of tools. It's quantitative and qualitative all in one. It's got some very rich rigor to it.
Over time, we've trained more than 3,000 individuals in different levels of Lean Six Sigma.
This is so phenomenal for higher education and practically most businesses to have that many people. And what also struck me is this was all bottom up.
As we rolled out Lean Six Sigma training across our organization, we quickly realized the benefits to our staff and our processes. In fact, we wanted to keep this momentum going and involve the entire university in a very fun and engaging way. That's how Process Palooza came about. Process Palooza is a conference, an expo, and a competition all rolled into one, with a focus on excellence and continuous improvement.
It's about co-creation, and it's about building processes that aren't top down, but come out of a collaborative problem-solving approach.
In the wake of the pandemic and the larger financial impacts on the state and the institution, and I think that our Lean Six Sigma trained staff and the Process Palooza mindset are going to be key to helping us keep going on this. So people might wonder whether it's really part of our mission as UC San Diego to help other institutions get started on their continuous improvement journey. And I think the answer is a resounding yes. Our mission as a public institution is to the people of the state of California and the nation and the world. We have to look beyond our walls and serve the broader society.
So there are an awful lot of people around this great state of California that are getting to learn more about what's going on here at UC San Diego.
Yay. Okay.
Process Palooza, so good.
Yeah.
You been there? Do you get a opportunity to attend one?
I have not. It was something I was planning on, and then COVID. So.
I know. We did it online this year, but we're planning for a bigger webinar for the next year. So keep looking out for one.
for sure.
All right, so let's see. So it looks like we've got some questions in there. Wes, you want to be the question manager?
I can be the question manager, and we got Dean. I mean, look at that, prepared, coming in hot. So Dean, why don't you go ahead and send it?
All right. Thank you for talking to us. I just wanted to know when and where you first got interested in Lean Six Sigma.
Hi, Dean. It's nice to meet you. That's a great question. So I actually joined full-time workforce in 2004 as an HR information systems apprentice. And I think sometime during the very first month of my new job, my manager, who also became my mentor later, asked me to create a flow chart of the process that she wanted to explore with me or wanted me to start working on. And I think that's really where my journey with process improvement began, because that really got me interested and started on, I basically learned the power of what it can do to just take a deep look at a process, just putting it down on the paper and having everyone build consensus on what our process is today, how powerful that can be. And I think that really got me interested in looking at processes in a whole new way. Later in 2012, I joined Motorola as an HRIS expert. I had enough experience to be an HRIS expert by then. And as some of you might know already, that Six Sigma was born in Motorola. Motorola invented Six Sigma. And so it had a very deep culture of Six Sigma there. And I got an opportunity to get deeply involved with Lean Six Sigma there. And I practiced, process improvement at Motorola. And then later in my role, I was, leading a business process analyst team in a healthcare industry organization. And when I joined UCSD, the environment here was just ripe, and it was gradually, kind of blossoming with more and more Lean Six Sigma practices. So it gave me an opportunity to harness that potential of building a culture, not just practicing Lean Six Sigma on projects and in process improvement world, but also building a culture, which means taking Lean Six Sigma beyond the individual potential, like, taking it to a place where it's exploratory to see what happens when the entire department is introduced with Lean Six Sigma methodology, or what happens when the entire university is curious to learn about Lean methodology. So I think especially with UCSD, I've been really lucky to be in an environment where our leaders believe in that, Lean Six Sigma methodology, because it's certainly an approach that blossoms from, bottom up. And that's where the impact of Lean Six Sigma is sustainable and something that can grow. But at the same time, having leadership support that mindset and, investing into the training and all that has certainly taken it to a different level altogether.
Thank you.
Awesome. Julie, you are up next.
Awesome. Hi, I was wondering, what are some of the challenges you have faced in spreading Lean Six Sigma or teaching the principles?
Yeah, hi, Julie. Pleasure to meet you. I think one of the challenges that we faced, and we sometimes still do, is that, once an individual in a department goes through a Lean Six Sigma training, they're always at this point that, yes, I completed my green belt, I did a fabulous project, that saved X amount of dollars and brought a lot of soft benefits along with it. My training is done. Now what? Where do I go from here? And, sometimes they try to kind of talk about that concept in their department. It is met sometimes with, equal sort of appreciation, but there may or may not be kind of leadership support to take it further to the next step. But I think what really, where the Lean Six Sigma kind of shows potential is that instead of trying to convince people to show how powerful that methodology is, if you just pick up a process around you, whichever capacity you're working on in your department or your organization, pick up a process that can use some improvement. Build some momentum with the people that are nearest to that process. Improve it. If the environment is ripe to use Lean Six Sigma terminology, use it. Otherwise, just use simple language that still allows you to take the improvements forward. And that's what gets people attention and gets them to be interested in, Lean Six Sigma practices. So I think it has been challenging to take it to the next step immediately after individuals go through their training. But fortunately, it's been a few years now. It's been more than 3 years that we've been investing and constantly putting those efforts in. And so I think we're getting past that kind of roadblock in some of the departments now. Each department is completely different, though. Every time we start in a new department, it feels like a fresh start. But we are a little bit more seasoned to kind of deal with that now, I think.
Let's go for 2 more questions. I'm just sort of watching the clock here. So
yep. I was just going to ask when do we want to? Okay, so we'll go. Let's see, Ishmael and then Nate. So Ishmael, why don't you go first?
All right. Hi. Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to ask, is there a specific aspect of Lean that you've found useful throughout your entire career?
Specific aspect of Lean, how do you mean? Can you elaborate a little bit more on what aspects are you talking about? I can take this question in many different directions. So I'd like to answer it I'd like to answer it in the way that it helps your curiosity.
Something like that you use throughout like your different career, like a different job, that the same tools you've used or the same principles. Is there like a certain one that you've used throughout different ones, your different career?
Okay, so if, there are some basic principles, and some of them Eric was mentioning in the beginning of this session, like respect for individuals and leadership, and facilitation has a direct impact on outcomes. I think these are very, very powerful principles. One of the principles that it stands really close to my heart is simple solutions over perfect ones. Never let like perfection be the enemy of good enough, and make incremental improvement rather than shooting for perfection in one shot. Whenever you're working on a process, it's very tempting to go for the perfect solution, which might require, let's say, purchasing a system or acquiring a new software, or putting a really good, kind of methodology out there that can accomplish perfect results. But sometimes even small changes can get you maybe 50% there. And then another incremental change can get you another 20% there. So I think what sticks with me is always shoot for simpler solutions over perfect ones.
excellent.
Good one.
All right. Thank you.
Last question, Nate, send it.
All right. Excuse me. My question was, what's the biggest issue that you've solved using Lean practices?
What's the biggest issue? Okay. So UCSD is currently going through massive transformation in terms of switching out or replacing all of our enterprise systems. And this includes, all of the administrative systems, financial information system, research administration system, student administration system, our, payroll system. So there's a lot of change happening. And sometimes we've seen, like in the past, universities have taken, let's say, about 4 years to or more to just switch out their financial information system. And at UCSD, our goal is to replace all of these systems under a big program called ESR, Enterprise Systems Renewal. And all of this journey was supposed to be done in 5 years. And we are in the 4th year of that 5-year period, and we are tracking well. And, in terms of timeline, as well as in terms of budget on that project. And a lot of, I would credit a lot of the reason for that success to our paying attention on the processes. As we are replacing these systems, before we go ahead and make a decision on which system we are going to implement, we are taking this opportunity to take a really close look at our processes, analyze them, which processes are here because of our system limitations, which processes we have been adhering to, or they are in the state that they are in, because we haven't had a chance to look at these processes over the past 10 years. And this is the way we've been doing them. So Lean Bench, the one that I was mentioning before, actually goes in and helps out each one of these projects to analyze their processes before we switch out into a new system. I think that has been a really big change or transformation, which is still underway, but I consider that one of the biggest successes of Lean here at UCSD.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nate. So Prachi, thank you so much for spending this time with us and talking about this. As I said at the start, I'm always just a little bit jealous when I hear you guys from San Diego talk to us. I think you're doing some wonderful work there, and really appreciate that you're leading the way for a lot of university systems to get better with this sort of thing. Prachi, so we've got, I guess 70 or something south of 70, because we're in the count too on the participants there. But we've got a lot of students who are just starting out on their Greenbelt journey or on their Lean Six Sigma journey. And what piece of advice or parting piece of advice would you have for these guys as we break up tonight?
That's really a tough one.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's been a pleasure to be here. It's been a pleasure to hear all the questions and the remarks that you all have here. So thank you for inviting me. In terms of what would it be that I would like to share for those students who are starting on this Lean journey, I think I would suggest that you'll get to learn a lot of tools during this, this training that you go through for Lean Six Sigma, whether it's a green belt or a black belt or a yellow belt, at whichever level you're planning to explore Lean Six Sigma. You'll get this toolkit, or you'll get this, menu of a lot of different tools that you can use from your Lean Six Sigma kit. I would suggest that, like any other thing in life, Lean Six Sigma tools are also most effective when they are applied in strong partnership with common sense. So sometimes it's not that you just go through and apply the DMAIC methodology as it is on every single project that comes in front of you, that's associated with Lean Six Sigma. Look at many different opportunities around you to solve problems. Like, I take Lean Six Sigma more as a problem solving technique, or a problem solving methodology that I have in my toolkit. I don't necessarily deploy it in that sequence every single time, especially considering that I'm working in, I'm not working in a manufacturing industry. I'm working more in an IT-based change inspired industry, right? Which is changing every day. So applying common sense along with your Lean Six Sigma tools will bring you to a place where you can make the most effective use of your Lean Six Sigma skills. Sometimes it's not about increasing accuracy. Sometimes it's more about increasing, let's say, student experience or staff experience. And it's really the soft benefits that matter most than the dollar amount benefit that you can get from applying that Lean Six Sigma or doing that Lean Six Sigma project. So keep in mind, keep an eye out for what is it that you're looking for in the end. And based on that, make a judgment about what tools would be best to use from your toolkit, like an expert, like an expert Lean Six Sigma mechanic. So I think that's what I'll have for you.
Good. Don't check your common sense at the door, right? When you're doing these sorts of things. So, Prachi, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure meeting you. This is your first Lean Celebrity experience, but I think hopefully we'll get you back again in the future. So thank you. Let's say goodbye. Why don't everybody fire up your video if you're still alive and well. Let's give it a little Zoom wave, Prachi. Thank you so much. And we're going to go into a little 5-minute break. So 5-minute break. So let's